Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on this channel. Today, if you can pull yourself away from the World Cup action, I can tell you Oxford United have played a game of football today, and not only have they played it, they have marched into round 3 of the FA Cup. It's a little bit of a different style review today. I'll just put the score on the screen now. It is Oxford United 4, Exeter City 1, so it is another thumping win over Exeter City. And I have a special guest as well, coming to you from the depths of the cosmos, looking like Galactus himself. It is my brother, Robert. Robert, what did you think of United's fantastic win today?
Yeah, I do look a bit hologrammy, don't I? I sort of look like I should have like a little H on my forehead right about now. But
You are a Red Dwarf fan.
yeah, I thought so. It was you can't predict Oxford at the moment. Last weekend, it's doom and gloom, and everyone's moaning about a piss poor performance. And then today, you expect Oxford to win, but no one was expecting a 4-1 victory, and it should be as comprehensive as it was. So, yeah, absolutely. For once, I don't think we can have any complaints.
No, very rare. And I wasn't complaining last week, by the way. I was disappointed we didn't win, but I
You were
was
very positive.
I was
Yes.
I saw the positives in it, and this is a decent run of form from Oxford United. You were absolutely right. I don't think anybody knew what to expect from today's game, but also that probably goes from an Exeter point of view as well, as you don't know how they're going to approach it and
No.
who they're going to arrest too. So I think that it's just for these first early rounds of the FA Cup, you just kind of want to just get through them any way you can, get into round 3 where you potentially can play one of the big hitters in the Premier League. Will probably end up getting like Mansfield away or something like that. It's but it's an Oxford United side. There were a few changes, weren't there, today? McGinty played in goal.
Yeah.
I think you had a pretty similar back line with Anderson carrying on at right back. You had McGuane, Brannigan, and Henry in midfield, I think.
Yeah.
Um, Taylor up front, Marcus Brown on the wing. And what is this Jody Jones character doing?
He's alive. Rumours of his death have been entirely exaggerated.
Yeah.
Jody Jones exists.
I think Carl Robinson was seen like, those blurry images of Bigfoot. Like he was seen one of them, like Jody Jones in Malta. He's been spotted in Malta. It's a blurry image of him, and they've roped him in. But it's good to see him playing. I full disclosure, there was no way to watch this game today, so I listened to the first half. You listened to the second half of it. I've actually been doing some live streams of World Cup games on one of my friends' channels, so that's where I haven't been. So grandstand betters for that one if you want to check those out, which where I've been. So I didn't see the second half. I didn't listen to the second half of this one, so I missed all the goals. But Oxford took the lead early with a Matt Taylor goal. It sounded like a complete balls up from Exeter City, where they've just gifted the ball to him and he's rounded the goalie and put the ball in the back of the net. It sounded like Oxford had the lion's share of this first half, where they created a lot of chances. I think there was a triple save by Blackman in the Exeter goal. That denied McGuane, he denied Brannigan, he denied Henry in a very short space of time. But largely it was Oxford kind of who set the tempo in this one. A couple of sloppy moments at the back where we needed to let Exeter in. But how did the second half go?
Yeah, it's carried on much the same vein, to be honest with you. Oxford United um, were firmly in control. There were chances for Exeter, but it's just weird. I mean, obviously, you listen to it on the radio, and I will admit they were going off on tangents quite a little bit as well. So I don't think the match was fully gripping them. But and then William Bodin gets his goal.
Yeah.
Cameron Brannigan, he sort of Cameron Brannigan gets his customary one, and then Bodin gets a second. So 4-0, and then sadly we don't keep the clean sheets. So
Well, it just never seemed like we can we? They are.
I think at that point we had sort of just, we were completely lost our heads, and they managed to get a goal. But no, second half it was comfortable. To be honest with you, we sort of it's as comfortable a performance as you can expect, really. So a nice 4-1 victory.
Yeah, it looks all the stats tell the story of a comfortable Oxford United win. Lion's share of possession, 14 shots to 6. So 7 shots to 4 on target as well. So just encouraging signs, really. We definitely turned a corner from, in my opinion anyway, from a really horrible start to the season. And November was a pretty decent month, all in all, picking up from good stuff we saw in October as well. But what do you? Where do you see it? Where, in your opinion, Robert? Where do you see Oxford United? Are you still angry at Robbo?
I'm not angry at him. I think like a lot of fans, Robinson irritates the hell out of me at times. You can just hear an interview and you're gonna get exasperated by the crap he comes out with. I did like the interview he did midweek. I think he actually came across quite well on that. A little bit chippy in places, but he sort of made some valid points. And I think we've gone from 2 months ago, we were looking at this and we're thinking, could Oxford United be sucked into like a relegation battle? Now we sort of move beyond that and we're thinking we're mid-table, but we're starting to look on the looking upwards. And you made a point when we were talking the other week. We were saying like, if we can keep our heads above water, if we can have a decent December, nothing earth-shattering, but maybe be sort of like 8th or 9th or something like that by about January. If we can take advantage of our new owners and get some new bodies into the club and sort of like, we might be able to take advantage and kick on in the second half. This is a very tight league. There's no outstanding sides in there that are heads and shoulders above everybody else. Anyone can go on a decent run and sort of shoot up the table, and conversely, anyone can have a bad run and suddenly find themselves looking over their shoulder.
Yeah, I would just say I think they're, from what we've only played Plymouth, we haven't seen Wednesday play Oxford yet or Ipswich, but those three sides look pretty strong. But the rest of the sides, there isn't like a huge difference. There's no sides that I've really seen Oxford come up against and go like, wow, they look really impressive. Even like Peterborough, who looked good going forward, but looked a bit ropey at the back themselves. And I completely agree with what you just said. Mainly because you were taking points from what I said earlier on, so that's why I agree with it. But it's Bodin. We thought he might be out injured for a while, but he's back in the side the week later, scoring 2 goals off the bench. He's in great form, and it's good to see.
Bodin was one of my players of the season last season. I really loved watching Billy Bodin. He was sort of creative, he scored goals, and he really added something to midfield. And by his own admission, he's had a poor season up until now. And there are a variety of reasons for it. Sometimes players just have a bad run of form. But he's now starting to turn the corner. He's getting goals. He's starting to sort of prove his worth again in the side. And that's having a sort of knock-on effect. The fact he's now scoring, he's creating space for the likes of Brannigan to get forward. Taylor managed to get a goal now. I mean, Taylor's been struggling for form now. So suddenly players are starting to come back and starting to sort of show the form that we've been used to them seeing.
Yeah, agree. It just a bit more consistency in home performances, and I think that will, everything will start to feel a bit more like it did last season. Whisper it quietly, but we might see Murphy next weekend.
Yeah, before the match, he was saying that Murphy he's not quite fit. They might hope to see him next week, but he won't promise that, because I think they've been burnt before. So I mean, let's be honest. I don't expect to see Murphy next week, but we might see Murphy at some point in December. Maybe sort of like say, he might start getting a few sub appearances and stuff.
I think you might see Josh Murphy on the bench next weekend. I think you might see him. You might see him travelling with the team. I might see Robinson might throw him on if needed, but generally just on being involved in the matchday squad to start with. And I think you're right. He might look to sort of phase him in for 2 home games, or for the home game against Barnsley or the next weekend, which is Wednesday away, might be a big one to throw him in for. But he's supposed to be a big game player, so maybe
he's
that
not
is
a shy rookie, is he? This is sort of match he should be sort of like used to. And like I say, he might be a useful player to have on the bench for the last 20 minutes or so. He might sort of be, a bit of experience. To be honest, I don't know what he's like because I've barely seen Jody Jones. No. Not Jody Jones, Josh Murphy.
Well, you've barely seen Jim as well.
Oh yeah, but I've never. I don't know what it's like. So it's not like I can sort of predict like it'd be like Marcus Brown even coming back if he is injured. You know what to expect with him, with Murphy. It's a bit of an enigma. I mean, we've only sort of He's come on as a sub in one match, hasn't he? If I think rightly.
I think he's made a couple of appearances, hasn't he? I think he made one first couple of weeks of the season, and I think he came on actually against Exeter away.
Yeah.
And then we just like never saw him hardly ever again. But look, things look like they're improving on the pitch. They look like they're improving off the pitch. And today was all about getting into FA Cup round 3, and we did. We will just jump into a couple of other things before we wrap this video off because I don't want it to go on too long. But firstly, if you are an Exeter fan and you went to the game today or you listened to it, let me know your thoughts on it. That's a couple of beatings we've given your side now. How are your thoughts on how the season's going? Were you disappointed about today? Well, you can't be happy about it. And just let me know about your thoughts going on moving forward. Always like to hear from away fans and Oxford fans as well. But let's just go in a couple of things. Firstly, Robert, if you could pick and give us a smile for goodness sake. There you go. Oh my God, I take it back. Give us a frown. If you could have any side for Oxford to play in round 3, particularly a side that you would get off your backside to go and see Oxford play, who would it be?
Honest answer?
Yes. Manchester United. No, dishonest answer, please.
Manchester United at Old Trafford.
Okay, very good.
I've never seen Oxford play Manchester United in a meaningful match, so it'll be interesting to go and watch it. And you know damn well it'll be full of like youth team players and all the rest of it. But a chance to go to Old Trafford to watch a big match like that, definitely. That'll be sort of like be something I'll be really interested in seeing. I mean, we're probably going to get something like Macclesfield at home, but
for me, it would be. I have actually been to Old Trafford. I've never seen Man United play there. I watched an England friendly there a long time ago. But I would like to go a little bit further west and either go see Oxford play Everton or Liverpool.
At Goodison or Anfield.
Yeah, go either one of those two ones. Just but I mean, realistically, any kind of Premier League club would be pretty cool. Personally, I won't be able to go because I won't be in the country in the early part of January, so I'll have to hope for an FA Cup round 4 tie before I get my dream of going there, maybe. But good answers, and we're going to end this by looking at December fixtures.
Okay.
And we'll run through and see how many points Oxford will take. Currently, Oxford sit 13th in League One with 24 points from their 19 games. First up on 3rd of December is Accrington Stanley away.
I'm going to say draw. We do have a sort of iffy record with Accrington. They seem to be sort of like a side we always expect we're going to hammer, and we never do. So I'll stay with draw.
I would say there's probably 23 other clubs in League One that have a similar experience with Accrington, Robert. Expect to hammer them, rarely do. I think Oxford United will win that game. I think we're going to get a victory against Accrington away. Barnsley at home. So good a game. Someone bought a ticket for it way in advance.
I think we will lose that. Actually, just while I slightly pessimistic, I think I can see us losing that 2-0.
Yeah, they're kind of a bit of an under the radar side, aren't they? Yeah. They're still got a lot of players that played in the Championship, underperformed a little bit. Okay, you're going to go with a defeat. I'm going to go with a draw in that one. So far you've got 1 point from the 2 games. 17th of December, a big day in the calendar for our family, but Oxford United are away at Sheffield Wednesday.
I'm going to say we win that.
Wow.
I'm going to go for a 1-0 win.
Look at Big Bobby Big Balls there with that one. I'm going to go. I think Oxford will lose that. We won there last year. It felt all a bit too good to be true. I think that's going to come back around. Yes.
Is that because you now live in Sheffield and you're basically a traitor?
Yeah, well, I have spent the last year reminding all the Sheffield Wednesday fans I work with that we did the double over them. So that's got to come back to haunt me at some point. Surprisingly, they don't talk to me very much. Boxing Day.
That's the reason. That's the reason.
Shush. Boxing Day. Oh, Boxing Day. Oxford are away at our wonderful friends and rivals, Ipswich Town.
Oh, that's gonna be a beating, isn't it? I mean, Ipswich are a decent side, and it's just going to be a real horror show, that one. I reckon I see that being a 3-1 defeat.
I think that we might lose that one too. They usually don't end. Usually 0-0 is the course of the day when Oxford play Ipswich, but I think Ipswich will beat us on that occasion as well. And that leaves us on Thursday, the 29th of December, last game of the year, a home game against Rodney Charlton Athletic Trotter.
I'm going to go for home win.
I think so too.
I
think so too. So that is so you've got Oxford getting a draw. Draw against Accrington, win against Charlton, win against Wednesday. So we will get 7 points from 15. And I think I've got the same number there, haven't I? I think I've gone for 2 defeats, 2 wins, and 1 draw. Yeah, so we've both gone for 7 points out of those 15. So that will leave us. Is that the treading water that we wanted? Kind of, pretty much, isn't it? That will leave us on 31 points. Probably leave us in a pretty similar place of where we are in the table.
A place a couple higher, maybe a place lower or something like that. But then the key is, can we get someone who's in January? And also, Wiltshire should be fit and starting to get back around about then. Josh Murphy might actually be playing regularly. Baldock.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah.
Don't hold your breath. I think we you know, I don't know. It's a shame. It is a real shame, and I don't really like people talking crap about Sam Baldock really online and on Twitter. And I know it's frustrating that he's injured all the time, but it's not his fault. Like he's not,
exactly.
he's not trying to be injured. He wants to play, and it's always must be no one's more frustrated than him.
No, exactly. So I mean, we can all be frustrated with the situation, but it's not his fault, you know.
And I don't really like it when people say I think he's going to retire, because that's like not really a nice thing to say about a professional. But anyway, I can't stop any of that. And let's wrap this video up. Thank you very much for coming on, Robert. Maybe we'll do a little video at the end of December, just kind of summing up the season, halfway point of the season kind of thing, and maybe talk about 2022 as a calendar year a little bit. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. If you can hit like, that's great. And if you think about subscribing, if you haven't done, that helps me out a lot as well. But leave your comments. I'd like to know what you thought about this great win today. Oxford United in general, and Exeter fans too. I'll be back very soon with the more content, maybe some World Cup content, but definitely a review of Accrington versus Oxford next weekend. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.